Hello, good morning, and happy Wednesday to you, the 19th day of November in the blessed year 2025. My name is Francis Ofulue. This is Wednesday's edition of the program, Morning Right. So I welcome you on behalf of the board, management and staff of this beautiful station. Now, today being the 19th day of November is, interestingly, International Men's Day. So, happy International Men's Day to every single man all around the world. If you're a man watching me, it's good to be a man, and congratulations for making it this far. I say that because the life of every man is sometimes mostly at risk. I had to use different narratives to express that, because basically men are usually targets for different tragedies that happens in this Mother Earth, whether it's violence or how they have to become breadwinners or how a lot is expected of every man. The list is indeed endless. To be a man, they say, is not a day's job. So happy International Men's Day to every single man around the world. And on that light, I say also that for men who are even gallant enough to protect Nigeria, just doing that alone, whether the women or the men, I say, well done to you. The military personnel who are always going around trying to ensure safety in this country, we really, really send you all our love and hugs as much as possible. Also, we share in the grief of the slain Brigadier General Sani Uba, who passed on after he was shot by terrorists, indeed, in the country, which is quite an incident that caused many stirs all over social media, and people asking different questions. How would a Brigadier General, a man who controls more than 4,000 army, so to speak, be shot just like another common man in the country? What is the hope, indeed, for the common man in Nigeria? These are questions, indeed, that we do not know the answers to. But we are wondering, when would all these end? Somewhere around the world, the number one country, the way they see themselves, the United States of America, has plans to come to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. That in the papers will be concluded tomorrow. Already there have been different testimonies, several personnel going around to testify their own perspectives about Nigeria. One of those happens to be the hip-hop star Nicki Minaj, who went ahead to speak about what she described as Christian genocide in Nigeria. Also, other pastors have launched their voice to the issue just to speak out about what's going on in Nigeria, what they described as Christian genocide. Pastor Ashimolo was also one of those who went around to also reel out his thoughts about the killings in Nigeria. They have described it as a genocide. And that is arguable, because from the Nigerian government in Abuja, it is not targeted at Christians, but they are bandits, indeed, causing terrorist mayhem in the country. These attacks are not calculated to slain Christians, so to speak, but by bandits who just want to cause terror in the country. So they are willing to partner with the United States of America, yet they do not want to be labeled as a country of particular concern. But that is concerning, because if you look at Nigeria in the past 2 years, we have lost at least 10,000 people in 2 years. If I travel to Ukraine and find out how many people have been slain in 2 years while that country is at war, it is more than 12,000. That means the difference is about 2,000 people that have been slain. Now that difference indicates that Nigeria is somehow at war if we are talking about logic and mathematics. Because if Ukraine has lost 12,000 people in 2 years, and Nigeria 10,000 people in 2 years, then it means there is no peace in this country. So there are those who don't mind if Nigeria is labeled as a country of particular concern. They don't mind if the United States comes over to Nigeria and take over this country. They don't mind, indeed. That also is heartbreaking. The reason is not far-fetched. Many of us believe that America has never come to a country and leave the country the way it was. Check out some of the countries they have visited in the past, whether it's Libya in 2011 and how they brought liberation for Gaddafi. The aftermath is that Libya is very heavy in human slavery now, and the country is not at peace. Haiti, 2013 or thereabout, the Americans went there again, trying to cause peace. Till now, the country is going through a whole lot. There is Panama, Vietnam. The list indeed is endless. And if I think a little deeper, I'll remember some other countries that America, so to speak, has gone to act as saviors of this country. Indeed, it has turned out bad. The other concerns about even the Libya visitation of the United States of America was because belief there was because the president then, Saddam Hussein, said he was going to change the means of trade for oil and the rest of them and make gold the means of trading instead of the dollars. In his perspective, how could you make the means of trading a country's own currency when it should have been neutral enough to be one particular instrument or currency that is global or central to every part of the world? And gold, as invaluable as it is, was what Saddam Hussein suggested. That was before the attack on Libya and what happened thereafter. In fact, President Obama, during his time, said that was one of the worst mistakes of America. And now they're planning to come to Nigeria, make Nigeria a country of particular concern of a Christian genocide. There are thoughts. The way this thing started was just one broadcaster saying that we keep talking about other countries and we've forgotten about Nigeria, where there is Christian genocide. A week or two after, we began to see more conversations, even from the president or the POTUS, so to speak. Now we are in that particular turf. But some Nigerians do not care. If we can be saved even by those so-called invasions or invaders, we do not mind. Some Nigerians say, just come around, save us from this particular tears that we're going through. In Benue, in Plateau, the killings are endless. But is it targeted just at Christians? I mean, the death of Brigadier General Uba Musa is one that makes us wonder indeed, was it about Christians or not? Is this just about killings? But then some of us have criticized heavily the pattern of which the Nigerian government reacted when Nigeria was about to be designated as CPC, country of particular concern. It is how it looked like a denial, back and forth from the country denying and saying Nigeria is not under any such kind of attack. In fact, it's all about killings generally. If the country had been more sensitive about that kind of communication, maybe that would have shown the country is deliberate over ending terrorism, so to speak. When that message came from the United States of America, we should have been having messages from the Nigerian government talking about how indeed it's painful and how they want partnership with the United States of America. But the first reaction was denial on denial. But the evidence, they are so glaring that indeed people have been dying in Nigeria. And this is not even about Christianity or Islam. People have been dying. And if 2 Christians have been killed, matter of fact, due to religious tensions and the rest of them, then it is understandable if any country can label Nigeria as a country of particular concern. However, just like I've tried to reiterate earlier on, America, most times when they visit your country, people believe it's sinister and not indeed for noble gestures, just like I've proven from several countries that we've mentioned just earlier on the program. So, what happens next? What happens tomorrow, Thursday, when America sits and decides whether taking over a sovereign country like Nigeria by designating it as a country of particular concern? The big question remains, can Nigeria stand that kind of labeling? And what could happen thereafter? There shall be economic issues. But like I said, some Nigerians do not give any hoot about whether Nigeria is seen as a country of particular concern, whether the economy is going to suffer, because they believe they are already suffering. They believe they are not feeling the commonwealth of the country. They believe they are going through a whole lot. So they don't really care. They say, come ahead, take Nigeria as a country of particular concern. But that indicates that we have a state that is failing the people, if the people would indeed want America to come take over their own country. We also share in grief over the girls who were kidnapped, 205 girls in Maga, Kebbi State. This particularly concerns me because once upon a time, I used to be around Kebbi State and lived there for a long time, indeed hoping to stay in Kebbi State. But messages like this, they're really hot. There could be anyone indeed. Those girls went to school to learn. And just like it happened in Chibok, long time ago in 2014, it has recurred in this country. Now, one thing I want to make very clear is that all the politicians do not weaponize any act of terrorism as a means to decampaign, if I should use that word, to sell a narrative against the incumbent president. Because that happened in 2014, and look at how it's playing out years after. Over 11 years after, they have 25 schoolgirls still out there. Where is Reno Mokri, who has been screaming hashtag free Leah Shaibu? He has stopped that particular cry or scream about free Leah Shaibu. He's been very quiet about that for a while. And he's still quiet even now. This hurts many Nigerians because it is believed that politicians weaponize things like this, innocent pains like this, and make it all political. Try to, decampaign or sell away their opponents and try to give the impression that the opponents do not do well, when every hand should be on deck to ensure the safety of those girls. Despite everything done during that period about the Chibok girls, what happened thereafter? Were they released immediately? The president this morning on our news, we heard that he has already made it clear, while condemning the killings, he has said that those girls will be brought to their parents soon. We hope that's what happens. But then there are concerns. Are there moles in the Nigerian system? Indeed, yesterday I was having a conversation on radio with some analysts, and they had questions about the modus operandi of the Nigerian army. They had issues about how terrorists who were gotten, treated, and rehabilitated were infiltrated into the Nigerian army to serve. Many of them believe that even if you send 10 of those people, at least 2 or 3 of them could become moles to their former masters. If that is the issue, then there is a lot of work for the DSS. The Secret Service has got to stand up and indeed do investigations, because it is not just about chasing these criminals, it's about trying to destroy the structure. For those who are still screaming out for Nigeria to be redesignated as a country of particular concern, they have talked about the rumors of when America had plans to come to 1 or 2 operations in Nigeria and how those bandits left the scene of the planned attack, meaning that somebody is feeding them with information. This is a call on DSS to begin to take actions and make Nigerians see the results after actions have been taken. Enough is enough of speeches from president after president condemning killings and actions not seen to apprehend the criminals. Bandits are on social media having their pictures littered everywhere. In fact, one time one of them came and said the government is responsible for their own banditry. And then I asked the question, if that man had the impetus to come around and say that on television, on social media, that the president or the government of the country has given them the backing and now they will stop, it means the man should have been apprehended and justice brought to indeed show that we aren't a country that patronizes terrorism. Well, the big question is, how far social media and what has it done to the country? But that will be on Street Talk. Before Street Talk anyway, we shall look at the papers and then we shall go on Street Talk. Stay with us. Morning Right this Wednesday promises to be interesting and very engaging. Mesha Koza is next. We shall be talking papers this morning. Stay with us.